though it's important to note that many of these figures are still in the process of building their political profiles for the future. 1. Sara Duterte-Carpio, daughter of Rodrigo Duterte. Background: Sara Duterte is the daughter of Rodrigo Duterte, the controversial former president, 2016-2022, and has already become a major political figure in her own right. She served as mayor of Davao City, her father's political stronghold, for multiple terms, and has shown strong political acumen and popularity. Political stance: Sara Duterte is seen as a political heir.
Unlike her father, she's generally viewed as more reserved and less brash in her public demeanor. Current position: she currently serves as vice president under Ferdinand Marcos Jr., and she has indicated that she may run for president in 2028, which would align with her political ambitions and familial legacy. The Duterte name still carries significant weight in Philippine politics, particularly in regions like Mindanao. Chances: Sara Duterte is a strong contender for the presidency in 2028, and she has widespread appeal, particularly among voters who appreciate her father's tough stance on issues like crime and drugs. If she runs, she would likely have significant support from the Duterte loyalists and Davao-based political machines. 2. Isco Moreno, former mayor of Manila. Background: Isco Moreno, a former actor turned politician, was the mayor of Manila from 2019 to 2022.
Time, after all, capital made him an inspiring figure for many Filipinos. He positioned himself as a reformer and a leader who could bring real change to the Philippines, focusing on urban development, anti-corruption measures, and poverty alleviation. Political stance: Moreno is a centrist who emphasizes good governance, urban modernization, and pragmatic solutions to issues like poverty and corruption. His leadership style is characterized by being hands-on, with a focus on pragmatic, actionable reforms, rather than ideological purity. Presidential run: Moreno ran in the 2022 presidential election, but was largely outshined by the candidacies of Bongbong Marcos and Leni Robredo. However, his Manila-based popularity and support among younger voters, who are looking for a break from the dynastic politics of the past, still keep him relevant in future discussions. Chances: while his 2022 run didn't yield the expected results,
another bid in 2028, especially if he builds a broader national base and emphasizes his governance track record in Manila. His appeal is most likely to the middle class and younger voters. 3. Leni Robredo, former vice president. Background: Leni Robredo, the former vice president of the Philippines, 2016-2022, ran as the opposition candidate in the 2022 election, but was defeated by Bongbong Marcos. Despite the loss, Robredo has remained a popular figure among liberals and reform-minded Filipinos. Her tenure as VP was marked by efforts to address poverty, social justice, and education. Political stance: Robredo is a strong advocate for democracy, human rights, and progressive policies. She positioned herself as a moderate and pragmatic leader who could unite the country's divided political factions. Her advocacy for good governance, especially in the areas of healthcare, education, and economic development, is well respected.
He lost the 2022 election to Marcos. Robredo remains a figurehead of the anti-Marcos and liberal movements. She has not ruled out the possibility of running again for president in 2028, but it remains uncertain if she would choose to do so, especially with the growing political dominance of the Marcos-Duterte alliance. Chances: Robredo's chances in 2028 would depend on the political climate at the time. If the country feels disillusioned with the Marcos administration, she could emerge as a viable challenger. Her main obstacle will likely be overcoming the Marcos-Duterte legacy, which currently enjoys strong support, particularly among the youth and rural voters.
Former presidential candidate. Background: Grace Poe is a current senator and the daughter of the late Fernando Poe Jr., a popular actor and former presidential candidate. Poe previously ran for president in 2016 and finished second behind Duterte. She has a well-established political brand as a political outsider, positioning herself as a voice for reform and good governance. Political stance: Poe is a moderate politician who champions public service, anti-corruption, and social welfare. She advocates for policies that would support the education, healthcare, and infrastructure sectors. Presidential bid: Poe is often mentioned as a potential presidential candidate in 2028. She has significant name recognition due to her father's legacy, and while she faced some challenges in her 2016 campaign, she remains an influential figure in Philippine politics. Chances: Grace Poe could be a strong contender in 2028, especially if the political landscape shifts to favor moderate candidates. Her popularity with urban voters and her reformist platform could help her build a broad coalition. Manny Pacquiao, senator and boxer. Background: Manny Pacquiao, the world-famous boxer and former senator, ran for president in 2022 but was largely unsuccessful, finishing in a distant fourth place. However, he has significant popularity among the Filipino masses due to his boxing career and his subsequent entry into politics. Political stance: Pacquiao advocates for poverty alleviation, improving healthcare and education. He has positioned himself as a populist, promising to lift the poor and improve the lives of ordinary Filipinos. Presidential ambitions: Although Pacquiao's presidential bid was less successful in 2022, he could be a wildcard candidate in 2028, particularly if he refines his political approach and builds more grassroots support. Chances: Pacquiao's chances are difficult to predict, as his political career is still evolving. If he can transition from being seen as a celebrity politician to a serious policymaker, he could become a viable contender in 2028. The political scene in the Philippines after Bongbong Marcos will be highly competitive, with several potential candidates vying for the presidency in 2028. Sara Duterte-Carpio is likely to be one of the front-runners due to her political legacy, but Isko Moreno, Leni Robredo, Grace Poe, and even Manny Pacquiao could also emerge as strong challengers depending on the political dynamics in the coming years. There's also the possibility of new faces from outside the political dynasties rising to the top, especially as younger Filipinos seek change from the traditional political elites. Ultimately, the next few years will shape the political landscape, but the race for the 2028 presidency promises to be a fascinating one.